Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, I wanted to share some more excerpts from this book I finished a while ago that has really cool nuggets about ancient Rome. Okay? And this one was pretty cool. It's titled The Emperor That Wasn't. Let's begin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. After Caesar's killers had been comprehensively defeated at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BC and had committed suicide, Octavian and Antony divided the Roman world between them. It was said that Cato was the one who fell upon his sword. Sextus Pompeius, son of Julius Caesar's great opponent Pompey the Great, raised a fleet and ravaged the coastline of Italy. So what's really cool about this is some people forget that Pompey had a son, and his name was Sextus Pompeius. And just think about how ships were so important back then. So you're living on the coastline, got that great view, fresh seafood, and here comes, that Civil War energy. Unable to destroy him, the triumvirs, as they were still called, even though there were now only two of them, asked him for a meeting to work out a peace treaty. So Mark Antony and Octavian, aka Augustus, aka Octavius, you got three names, are like, we need to make peace with Pompey's son, man. They met at Misenum, a headland at the north end of the Bay of Naples. The two sides sailed there with their fleets and moored at some distance from one another. Two wooden platforms had been erected in the sea, one for each group of negotiators. So, two wooden platforms erected in the sea. It sounds like these floating kind of bases in a way. These were just far enough apart to allow private talk on each platform and public communication, if shouted between the platforms. Unfortunately, megaphones had not been invented, and by the time a deal had been struck, voices will have been hoarse. I can imagine. Now we got Zoom. Got phone calls, right? But they don't want to get too close. You don't want to get shanked or ambushed, so they gotta be on these floating platform-looking things, it appears. And, shouting. It's quite loud. Really quite loud. Goodwill and trust broke out, and the participants asked each other to dinner parties on successive days on their various flagships, so party on a boat. When it was Sextus' turn, and everyone was comfortably drunk, his admirable Menodorus whispered in his master's ear, "Shall I cut the cables and make you master of the Roman Empire?" "If only you had done it," replied Sextus sadly, "and not asked for my permission. As it is, we must be satisfied with things as they are. I am a man of my word." Now, I found that, how that's documented, I'm not sure, because it doesn't tell me right here. But what I think is cool is that it's like, if you just done it, I'm not guilty, because you did it without my knowledge. But once you brought it to my attention, now my honor is tested. Because you gave your word. You see that? He's Pompey's son, I'll tell you that. If Sextus had accepted the offer, the history of the world would have been taken an altogether different course. Nobody would have been talking about the Emperor Augustus, as Octavian became, but Emperor Pompeius. Think about that. Now, the admirable Menodorus, obviously, if you think about it, if he did such a thing and failed, he would have lost his life. See what I'm saying? Or, you never know. Maybe Sextus would have had a different view after the deed had been done. You never know. And been like, now you've ruined my reputation. Everyone's gonna think I put you up to it. You must be beheaded because you broke the treaty. You did something without permission, and now you've made everything a mess. But it's interesting. So the Battle of Philippi, that's where Caesar's killers were finally wiped out. Okay? Whew. It's wild. Totally wild. The fact that they're like, who wants to be drunk on a ship? Like, bleh. It's like debauchery. But, man, that wine they must have had back then must have been like super potent as well. Man, wild. Let me know what you think. It's crazy. It's a long time ago, man. 42 BC. There's your ancient Roman facts for the day. If you'd like to join my blog, it's www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArchive. Hope to see you there.